Scientists solve the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle by claiming there was no mystery in the first place. KARL KRUSZELNICKI says everything can be explained by human error, bad weather, and heavy air, and sea traffic, not alien abductions or alien beams, energy beams from the lost city of Atlantis. Defying 70 years of fevered speculation, and skeptical scientists has dared to declare that the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle has been solved by claiming there was no mystery in the first place. KARL KRUSZELNICKI has insisted the reason why so many ships and planes vanish without trace in the area between Bermuda, Florida, Puerto Rico is nothing to do with the aliens or fire crystal from the lost city of Atlantis. Instead, the Australian scientists reveal the high number of disappearances is explained by nothing more supernatural than plain old human error plus bad weather and the fact that loads of planes with ships entered the area of Atlantic Ocean in the first place. Mr. KRUSZELNICKI told news.com.au that not only does the Bermuda Triangle, Devil Triangle, Limbo of the Lost, and other headlines monikers cover a large 7.0000 square kilometers swath of ocean is also a particular busy patch of sea. It is close to the equator near a wealthy part of the world, America, therefore you have a lot of traffic, he said. So said Mr. Kongti, when you compare the number of disappearances to the large quantity of ships and planes passing through the Bermuda Triangle, you find there is nothing out of the ordinary about it at all. According to the Lloyd's London and the US Coast Guard, he said the number that goes missing to the Bermuda Triangle is the same as anywhere in the world on percentage basis. Who has fellowship at Sydney University of Communicating Science to the broader community, also said there is a simple explanation for the disappearance that did the most to the world Bermuda Triangle speculation the loss of the Flight 19. This was the flight of 5 US Navy TBM Avenger torpedo bomber that set off from the Fort Lauderdale, Florida on December 5, 1945 for a routine 2 hour training missions over the Atlantic. After losing radio contact with their base, all 5 planes vanished. No trace of them or their 14 crew member was found. Even more spookily, it was later claimed a PBM Mariner seaplane dispatched that night on a search and rescue mission to find Flight 19 also disappeared along with its 13 crew. In the essence of either knowledge or fact-checking, speculations about Flight 19 became a growth industry, especially after 1964, when the writer Vincent Geddes advanced his theories in the article entitled The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. Whatever this means, the lurk within triangle of tragedy so close to home, he wrote, it was responsible for the most incredible mystery in the history of aviation, the lost patrol. This relatively limited area is a sign of disappearance is the total for beyond the law of chances. Its history of mystery dates back to the never explained, an enigmatic light observed by Columbus when he first approached his landfall in the Bahamas. As well as pointing out the lawyers of London would disagree with Gary's statistical analysis, Mr. KRUSZELNICKI also offered simple explanation for the loss of Flight 19. For a start, he said despite Gary suggests the petrol vanished in ideal flight condition, it wasn't fine weather, there was 15 m 49 feet waves. And he added that the only truly experienced pilot in the flight was its leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, and his human error may well be played a part in this tragedy. He arrived with a hangover, flew off without a watch, and had a history of getting lost and ditching his plane twice before, said by Mr. KRUSZELNICKI. Radio transcript from before the petrol vanished, he had made it clear that the Flight 19 had become unsure of its position. The transcript showed Lieutenant Taylor thought his compass had malfunctioned and that he was above Florida Keys, a string of islands stretching to the southwest of the US mainland, when in fact later analysis by ground staff would show he was to the southeast near an island in the Bahamas. And he also said Lieutenant Taylor overruled a junior pilot who said they should turn west and insisted the patrol fly east, unwittingly taking them further into the Atlantic above deep water where it might be harder to find sunken planes or bodies. If you read the radio transcript said, some of the junior pilots are saying, why don't we fly to the west? And the pilot says, why don't we fly to the east? Even more demandingly, the Bermuda Triangle mystery said was the fate of the search and rescue seaplane that according to the Gaddies and others also vanished. That it didn't vanish without a trace, said it was seen to blow up. There were several witnesses to explosion and oil slick and debris were found and after the disaster, the US Navy grounded all over PBM Mariner seaplanes. The aircraft had already gained the ominous nickname Flying Gas Tanks. It remains to be seen, however, whether Mr. Kruszelnicki, a popular science pundit or Australian TV and a radio, will succeed in his attempt to close down the Bermuda Triangle mystery. Lawyers of London has been saying that Bermuda Triangle disappearances occur at the same rate as everywhere else since at least 1975. That, however, was a barrier for Bermuda Triangle debunking because Charles Burlett's books, The Bermuda Triangle, published in 1974, was on its way to selling 20 million copies in 20 languages. By 1977, the Bermuda Triangle had gained such a mass appeal that Steven Spielberg included references to it in his award-winning fictional film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which depicted the crews of Flight 19 as being abducted by aliens seemingly undoubtingly. Lawyers of London has regularly repeated its claims about the unremarkable nature of the Bermuda Triangle. In 1997, a spokesman backed up the claim that there are just as many losses in other wide expanses of the ocean by adding that insurers' premium from the voyage to the Bermuda Triangle were no higher than for any other routine sea journey. This, however, had a little noticeable effect. The theory has proliferated despite the fact of the Gaddy's Deadly Bermuda Triangle article had been published in an American magazine that sometimes promoted itself as the magazine of masterpiece fiction. And despite the fact that Burlett's bestseller linked the Mary Celeste, the Bermuda Triangle, even though the ship had been found abandoned off the Azores on the other side of the Atlantic and the New York its route would have taken it nowhere near to the triangle. It is now possible to go online and find theories that dismiss such absurd notions as plane and ship disappearing into some sort of black hole or time warp in the Bermuda Triangle, and instead explaining the Bermuda Triangle is situated more or less in the middle of an area of Atlantic Ocean that once housed Atlantis. When Atlantis was destroyed, it sank to the very bottom of the ocean, while the ruined temples now play host to the multitudinous underwater creatures. The great Atlantean fire crystal that once provided so much of the tremendous power and energy that was found in Atlantis still exists, and they are still emitting strong energy beams into the universe. The only problem is said that the most recent naturally occurring hydrate gas blowout of the southeastern US probably occurred at the end of the glacial episode about 15,000 years ago or more, when the power more technically advanced men ships were probably nothing more than hollow logs.